Hi, I'm Mike Cherniffsky, and you're listening to This Podcast is Uncalled For. So welcome to the podcast. We have bonus Uncalled For today, and that's because it has to do with current events and something we've talked about many times before on the podcast, even recorded a public meeting about it, and that is downtown baseball, baby. Yes. So within the past week, the Royals finally announced where they're going to build their downtown ballpark. Sadly, it will not be the East Village. It will be part of the East Crossroads, about where the KC Star printing press, which has since been shut down, sits today right across the trench of a highway from the Sprint Center, or T-Mobile Center, whatever they want to call the arena now. So we're going to start by reading from flatlandkc.org, piece by Kevin Collison, whom I've come to trust on all things downtown. KC Royals downtown ballpark targets Crossroads. Project includes 6 blocks near Power Light District and T-Mobile Center. So, here we go. Well, as always, I'll insert my commentary when needed. So, the Kansas City Royals have formally announced plans to build a new downtown ballpark at the nexus of the East Crossroads and the Power Light District. After previously listing the East Village and North Kansas City as finalists, club owner John Sherman said the protracted ballpark negotiations offered time for a second look at a 17.3 acre site at the southeast corner of Truman Road and Grand Boulevard. The targeted site is dominated by the now vacant Kansas City Star printing press, completed in 2005. So about that, my understanding is the Star has pretty much abandoned local printing, and they contract that out now. So there's really no need for a printing press. And some other stuff. And really, I'm not going to say there's nothing in that general area, because there's some stuff like a strip club. But compared to East Village, which really has nothing but empty fields and parking lots, you're now hearing an argument, you're going flat out these small businesses, and that is unfortunately the case. And that's why they should have gone with the East Village, because, again, East Village is nothing. So, moving on. Quote, as this process went in a little longer than we hoped, yeah, no kidding, they were expecting to have an announcement by September, and we're already into mid-February. So, yeah, it took a while. As the process went on a little longer than we had hoped, it allowed time for creative ideas to percolate, said Sherman at a press conference announcing the team's choice. This site began to emerge through a combination of some creative people, some forward thinking, the vision of the mayor, and some real estate people. I love this location. I think if you think about the park and you're thinking about walking north into P&L or walking south into the Crossroads, this is really what baseball is all about. So on that, I will applaud you, Mr. Sherman, for recognizing that you have two different districts that could possibly feed off of one another. You know my thoughts on the Power and Light District. Um, and those will probably come up a little later in the article, but it is an ideal. It could be an ideal place to put ballpark, uh, provided that you find some way to compensate the small businesses that will be unfortunately displaced in all of this. And yeah, so I'm not minimalizing the pain of those folks, but the least you could do is uh, help them out. So, moving on. The proposed 34,034.5 seats ballpark will be open would be open for the 2028 baseball season if Jackson County taxpayers approve an extension of the current 3/8 cent sales tax for sports facilities on April 2. So notice the wording there, extension of the current sales tax. So this is sales tax that if you buy anything in Jackson County, Missouri, you're already paying that tax. They're just asking you to extend it for another 40 years to pay for this in concert with what the NFL team wants to do now that they'll have the Truman Sports Complex all to themselves. Once this is done, of course. So, I mean, this. So again, this is a tax you're already paying. If you buy anything in Jackson County, it doesn't matter if you're living in. Well, I guess it does matter if you're living in Jackson County, because you'll be voting for it. Uh, you know, you know what I'm getting at. So, moving on. The 6 block sites of the proposed $2 billion ballpark, remember that's $1 billion for the ballpark itself and $1 billion for surrounding district. And the Royals only asked for the sales tax to go towards the ballpark portion of it. They would handle all the surrounding development. So so again, the 6 block site for the proposed $2 billion ballpark and associated mixed-use development will be bounded on the west by Grand Boulevard, east by Locust Street, north by Truman Road, and south by 17th Street. Again, outside of that printing press building and a smattering of small businesses, not much to write home about, unfortunately. So, and it shows a diagram of what the ballpark would look like, as well as this South Loop Park. So you know that trench I just mentioned, yeah, with interstate highway going through it. There is a plan to cap that trench, so basically make it a tunnel, and on top of that cap would be a big park, which is pretty cool. And this calls for that park to extend now all the way down to Locusts. They were talking about extending all the way to from, I think it's Central, yeah, Central, all the way to Grand. Now it'd go all the way to Locust. So one big ass tunnel running underneath and entering the downtown. So that's pretty neat. It looks like the batter would be facing northeast, about the same direction that Kaufman is oriented now. Looks like they're taking out Oak Street, or just do what Villa Park does, build the stands over the street create tunnel that way. Is what I would do in that situation, because that is a major two-way street. But I digress. Looks like they're putting a bridge directly from Sprint Center or T-Mobile Center, whatever, over to the new ballpark, and they'd have offices and other buildings on that east side of the ballpark. So, yeah, really cool. Really cool. So, team officials touted the location as the best way to leverage earlier downtown investments, including the Power and Light District, which still receives an estimated 10 to 12 million annual subsidy from the city. The entertainment district was developed by Cordish Companies of Baltimore and began operating in 2007. And there's where we have a issue, folks. The Cordish Companies, when they opened up the Power and Light District, they instituted a dress code so restrictive you practically have to be a fucking yuppie to go in there and dress accordingly. I got kicked out once, never again, and had a potential video job that was lost within that precinct of the Power and Light District, and was basically fired on the spot because of the way I was dressed. So, fuck you, Cordish. Keep away from this, please. Alright? I spent 20 years of my fucking life pleading for this to happen. So, hands off. Move along. So, quotes. We'll bring 2, hopefully 3 million fans to the ballpark, which will benefit P&L, says Brooks Sherman, Royals president. Again, no relation to John Sherman. We think we're a connector to the Crossroads, and our presence enhances that. I would agree with that. The Royals also believe the proposed location will be a catalyst to extending the planned South Loop Park above Interstate 670. An additional 3 blocks beyond the 4 already planned extended to Locust. Right now, the 200 million plus project being spearheaded by the Downtown Council is plans to extend from Wyandotte Street to Grand. About half of the funding has been raised. How another 3 blocks will be paid for was not identified at the press conference, and the concept was considered aspirational. Quote, with this investment in the stadium and other developments, we think there's a way that we'll get there with financing that gets the rest to get the rest of that done. So, neato. One of the biggest challenges for the chosen sites, which had not been a significant issue with East Village or North KC, is assembling the land. So, the Royals say there are about 20 property owners in the area. The largest being the Church of the Resurrection, that's 16th and Grand, and an entity controlled by the Prefetera family that owns the former Star Press building. The massive green glass and copper-clad press building, which occupies 2 blocks, opened in 2005 at a cost of about $200 million and was touted as contributing to the downtown revival at the time. But the steep economic decline of the newspaper industry prompted the McClatchy Company, the Star's owner, to first sell the building to the Prefetera family in a backlease deal in 2018. In 2021, the Star ceased printing locally and transferred the work to Des Moines, leaving the building vacant. The owners have been searching for a buyer for the unique structure ever since. And while they haven't reached a deal with the Royals, Rosanna Prefetera Biondo couldn't conceal her glee at the Royals' decision. Quotes, "We're smiling from ear to ear with this wonderful announcement. We're having conversations and we're confident everything will move forward." On the other hand, Fan Trust Real Estate, the firm that assembled the 8-block East Village sites that had widely been considered the front runner for the ballpark from the beginning of this process, was disappointed. Quote, "Are we disappointed that the East Village site was not chosen today? Absolutely," says Dave Harrison, Van Trust president. "The East Village remains an opportunity for a catalytic project for future to further energize all of Kansas City." Officials at the Church of the Resurrection said they looked forward to discussing the future of their current property and pledged that they would remain downtown should it be sold. Quote, "Our location reflects our love for downtown Kansas City and the Crossroads and our desire to have a positive impact in the heart of our city," says church spokesperson Kathy Bean. "In the days ahead, we will continue to be in conversation with the Royals. We are committed to being in the Crossroads in downtown Kansas City and to having a positive impact for generations to come. The general financial description of the ballpark deal has remained unchanged. It's still being discussed as a $2 billion plan, roughly half for the ballpark and the rest for the development itself. Brooks Sherman said that the proposed development will include a hotel, an office building that will include space for the Royals HQ, and apartments. Please include bars and shit there too. As owners, we're prepared to invest privately more than $1 billion of our own money directly into the project and the Crossroads to make it a success. See, that's what I talked about earlier. The Royals say they plan to be the lead developer, but added other partners could be part of the development, among them Cordish. Notably, Cordish has developed projects associated with ballparks around the country, including Ballpark Village in St. Louis. "We've spoken with them," says Brooks. "They've been very good for downtown. Agree to disagree, but we do have discussions with them, but no formal arrangements." The Royals emphasized the plan location would cost substantially less in terms of infrastructure improvements, particularly highway access. Okay. Earl Santee, a principal at Populous, the KC firm expected to design the facility that specializes in sports architecture, says there'll be 22 different ways to access the location, which would be across I-670 from T-Mobile Center. You have every choice to make to get here, he said. The other key thing about this site versus the other sites is we don't need major highway improvements to make the site work. It works with the city that we have, the transportation city we have. And it works with the amount of parking we have. Pause. One of the great bitches, aside from, oh, it's easy to access Kaufman. No, it's not. It really isn't. I should know. I was there in April for a ball game. I took a friend of the podcast, Pat Lamb. And while it was nostalgic to be there and everything, getting in and getting out were a pain in the ass. And I remind you that site is completely surrounded by parking lot. The closest restaurant is the fucking Taco Bell across 6 lanes of traffic. This is one of the reasons you put ballparks downtown. It'll be in reasonable walking distance of a number of places, bars and restaurants and stuff. As for parking, well, have you ever been to the Crossroads on the first Friday? People find ways to park there. You're also planning. It sounds like they're planning on using Power and Light parking infrastructure, which exists. You know. And also, this site is 2 blocks east of the Kaufman Center stop of the streetcar line. Coincidentally enough. So once this thing gets built, get off at Kaufman Center, you go east for the ballpark, which I don't think will maintain the Kaufman name, but you get the idea, and west to the actual Kaufman Center for the performing arts. So that's pretty cool. And of course, the streetcar line is being extended as we speak. It's 2/3 of the way done in terms of getting rail on the ground and all that. If you wanted to, you could park on the plaza, jump on a streetcar at the plaza stop, and take it all the way up to the Kaufman Center stop, get off, and walk. And that allows you to create your parking. I swear to God, people bitching about parking are probably falling into one of 2 categories. One, they're too goddamn lazy to park somewhere, take public transit, or walk. Discounting the fact that you have to do plenty of walking already at Kaufman. So that's number one. And number 2, there's a whole fear of public transit and fear of black people. Let's be honest here. A lot of this has to do with fear of racist attitudes. Maybe not overtly racist, but certainly they're underneath the surface. So and of course the whole cheapo aspect of everything. It's as simple as this. Kansas City Metro is 2.2 million. If you want to go, great. There's plenty more people that would want to go. All right. We move on. Santee is estimated that there are 9,000 parking spaces within a 10-minute walk of the proposed stadium, enough to accommodate the cars expected on most game days. Another time to pause. Another thing that's become really clear throughout this whole process is there's plenty of parking already exists in downtown. In fact, there's way too much parking downtown. So plenty of space for cars, but not a whole lot for people to do. And that's another reason you build a ballpark downtown is you give something for people to do. All right, 81 days a year. Go to a baseball game. The location shows Mother Rolls is also about 2 blocks from the nearest streetcar stop. Yeah, Kaufman Center. The East Village site would have been several blocks further from the streetcar. Sherman said the site chosen by the Royals will build on the momentum already existing downtown. I believe in my gut that the timing is right for the Royals to become residents of the Crossroads and neighbors to P&L, 18th and Vine, and Hospital Hill, helping to further connect the cultural center of our great city. So applause all around. For the love of God, this extends to the sales tax. All right, this baseball belongs downtown, and kudos to the Royals for finally making it happen. And yeah, just let's get this done. I've been advocating for this for over 20 years. All right, let's just make it happen. All right, so thank y'all for listening, and yeah, we'll talk again sooner. Hopefully, let's continue our march to 20K, so that we can get the rest of this season released. So, hopefully, talk soon.